fortresses made of stone. We're just palaces made out of flesh and bone, waiting for our time to shine, to come on home. Lord, please bless my castle of sand, waiting on the battle sword, handle all in my hand. The war forces more toward my door with demands more important than the fortune that you poured in my pan. From freestyling to recording advance, can you please reinforce all my borders and bands? I should've put it towards some plans. Want a forest, gotta water some plants. Normally ignoring the branch is par for the course, but when you hold a culture you can't parkour over a part. You gotta march forth over your art. And for your fans, when you corner, gotta shorten your stance. Lessen your tails, Philly shell, don't orbit a dance. You hit a bell, then report to the band, and do whatever that the chorus commands. And for the grand, talented all along, think with fortresses made of stone. We're just palaces made out of flesh and bone, waiting for our time to shine, to come home. Lord, please bless my mansion of cards. If ever challenged, let us camp in the car, or hang a hammock from a branch in the park. A planet made of uninhabited parts. Being anonymous don't grant you some dark. Even astronomers keep a camera on Mars. Satellite to track where you are and see your black as night, attack it with sparks. Fireworks are not a match for a star, and fire hurts, burns, blackens, and scars. Can still emerge, learned, attractive, and charred from out
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is go time. My name is Todd Grisham. Alongside me is Johnny Nelson.
About time.
It's Roy Jones Jr., one of the greatest of all time. Pensacola's finest, an undisputed champion at 4 different weights. Terrence Bud Crawford, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. He also can crack at welterweight, one of the best to ever do.
This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds of boxing. In the red corner, from Pensacola, Florida, here is a middleweight, a super middleweight, a light heavyweight, and a heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones.
Not too many seats to be had in this arena as the After months of uncertainty, we finally have a fight. Every time they throw a shot, they get countered. Neither fighter willing to slow down. Beautiful counter punch. No rest for the weary. What a pleasure it is to be here in this environment. What a venue for this showdown.
You can walk into an arena and be the hero. The pressure, the expectation, the desire from the fans. You can't get away from it. Ignore them. Lock it up. I know it's hard. I can hardly hear you, Todd. You've got to ignore them. Get on with your job.
Nice counter punch right up the middle. Well done with that counter shot. He threw a punch and just got countered. Just when you thought we'd see a lull in the action, here we go again. Perfect punch. That jab misses. This round's still up for grabs with just 10 seconds to go. Talk about Roy Jones in that last round. Well, we know they've got the advantage so far, but how does this match get turned around? There's the bell for round 2. Well, Johnny, can he keep the momentum going after that last huge round for him?
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Beautiful counter shot. They exchange punches. A counter fighter relies a lot on their instincts and reaction time. You've got to get in there quick to punch your opponent before he gets his fist back to block.
If you're fighting a counter puncher, you've got to dummy a shot. Make them react from that, then react then. I know it's hard to think that way, but counter punchers, they're watching your every move, that every twitch.
Good counter punch. Can you believe it? Roy Jones Jr. is on the back foot now. That was the moment.
Got caught sleeping on the job. What do? You step back, steady yourself, recompose yourself, then boom, back into it. But do not make those mistakes. This is the wrong place to fall asleep.
Pretty close fight here in this round.
Perfectly matched, skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I've got to respect both of them more than happy.
A perfect counter shot. Fantastic punch. They are giving us a high-tempo show. You know the scorecards are going to be all over the place in this one. Let's talk about Roy Jones. On to the third. That last round was huge for him, Johnny. How does he keep the momentum going?
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Has to be careful for that receipt. It's always coming. There's a counter shot. Throws the jab, but it doesn't score. Nice counter shot. Punch, counter punch. Might want to think of holding on here for a minute. Catch and shoot. You gotta like what you're seeing as we reach the halfway point of this round.
Skill for skill, tap for tap. She's like a match made in heaven.
They both want a highlight reel knockout. And just as quickly as it slows down, it heats back up. Nice counter. It's knockout or bust for both of these fighters. A very competitive round with 10 seconds left. Let's talk about Roy Jones in that last round. Well, there was no doubt about who won that round.
You can't leave.
Here we go to the fourth round. Well, there's no doubt about who won that last round. Let's see what he has for us here in the next one.
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Those counter punches have to hurt. Nice counter shot. How nervous would you get when you know you're facing a big puncher like this that can seriously hurt you?
They know the second they touch you, it's done. They're that powerful.
Good counter punch. It's bombs away. That counter punch caught him clean. Every time he throws a punch, a receipt is coming right back. And he wasn't ready for that counter punch. Throws the jab but does not score. A perfect counter lands. That's another scoring shot. Every time they drop their guard, they get caught. The straight right just misses. How about that time? Very close round with 10 seconds to go. Let's talk about Roy Jones in that last round. Pretty dominant round there. Time for the 5th round. This fight has been very one-sided. What are we going to have in this round?
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
What do you think of what we've seen so far from these two boxers, Johnny?
Having so much speed, what happens to your opponent is you get cut to ribbons, and that's when the referee has to jump in and stop the fight. And you know this is going to happen, so you rush your work. You think, I've got to get him inside close round.
Just when you think they're going to have a lull in the action, we get it heated back up. That counter shot lands. Fourth they go, neither fighter willing to back down.
They're so close, so close. How can you separate them? It's going to be a hard night tonight for the judges.
You'd like to see more jabs. Threw the uppercut but did not score. Has to be careful for that receipt. It's always coming. Big hook thrown, but it doesn't connect. Despite what the judges' scorecards read, there are no losers in this one. Talk about Roy Jones in that last round. That was almost a 10-8 round. Complete dominance.
Dominant.
Let's start the 6th. They've got all the momentum on their side after that last round. Let's see what they do here.
Todd, my motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
And he scores with the counter. Is obviously the great equalizer in boxing, but when you know your opponent is relying on that so heavily, how do you deal with it?
You've got to be courageous when you're getting in there with someone that's bigger, stronger, and faster. You've just got to use brain there.
You can tell who's stronger and who's faster. Respect for each other's punching power. Both of these fighters have had their moments.
Perfectly matched, skill for skill, tap for tap. Now this fight will say, you know what, I'm just that notch above you, and so I've got to respect both of them more than happy.
This fighter has determined that they can walk through any punches that their opponent throws, and that's a very confident spot to be in.
The middleweights are the best you can ever come across. Obviously, the glamour weight is a heavyweight, but the middleweight, it's the size of the average man or woman. When you get in there and you're letting the shots go, you've got power, you've got speed, you've got pace, you can stand, you can dance, you can do everything. We can look back in history. You know the amazing fights at a middleweight are ridiculous. That is what writes our history books.
This round could go either way. 10 seconds to go. Talk about Roy. Here comes round 7. Coming off that fantastic last round. Let's see if he can keep his momentum going.
My motto is, if it's not broken, why change it? An excellent last round, everything works. Wait for the reaction. Until then, keep doing what you've just been doing because you've won that hands down.
Walk away from each other and then run right back into trouble. Oh, and there's no way they're getting up from that. It is a clean knockout. Everything looks better in slow motion. Let's take another look.
Shot from the gods.
So time to go celebrate after a knockout win here.
A knockout victory? That's not a knockout victory. That is somebody saying, I'm here, I've arrived. Try that again, it will happen all over again.